Dr. Young, and today I'll be talking about human digestion and nutrition. In this presentation, I will address the 6 functions of the digestive tract before delving into the journey of food through the digestive system. I will share information and dietary recommendations sourced from the NHS that are suitable for the general population. Furthermore, I will describe the implications of nutritional imbalance, including deficiency diseases. To wrap up, I will provide dietary recommendations that are believed to promote optimal health and prevent common nutrient deficiencies. When we eat, our digestive tract performs 6 functions. These are ingestion, mechanical digestion, chemical digestion, movement, absorption, and elimination. To gain a better understanding, I will follow our food's journey through the digestive tract, where it will pass through the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine, and receive vital assistance from the salivary glands, liver, gallbladder and pancreas as it transforms from bolus to chyme to feces. The digestive tract as a whole is a twisting muscular tube that is generally 30 feet long in adults. Ingestion, beginning from the moment food is put into our mouth, proceeds with mastication, which is chewing. From this, food is broken down into smaller pieces, marking the beginning of mechanical digestion, which is the process of physically breaking down the food. Mechanical digestion is necessary for the occurrence of chemical digestion, which begins the moment food mixes with our saliva. This enables hydrolysis, a chemical reaction that breaks down our food into smaller pieces from the incorporation of water molecules. This makes it much easier for our cells to access and absorb the nutrients from our food, and at this stage, particularly carbohydrates and lipids. Our food, now being chewed up and mixed with saliva, is now called a bolus. The bolus leaves the mouth and travels to the pharynx, where peristalsis begins and continues along the digestive tract. Peristalsis is responsible for movement. It is a sequence of muscular contractions that produce wave-like motions that, combined with gravity, help to transport the bolus to the next organ. From swallowing, the epiglottis flips up, preventing the bolus entry into the trachea, ensuring an easy route down to the esophagus. The esophagus, typically being 25 to 33 centimeters long, contains 2 sphincters. The upper sphincter allows the bolus to enter, whereas the lower sphincter allows the bolus to exit and travel to the stomach. The stomach is a hollow organ layered with muscles. When the bolus reaches the stomach, mechanical digestion proceeds from the muscles churning, which again prepares the bolus for chemical digestion. The glands in the stomach lining provide gastric juice, which is responsible for the now occurring chemical digestion. Gastric juice is a mixture of digestive enzymes which split up the proteins in the bolus. Hydrochloric acid, which helps to dissolve the food, killing bacteria, and also mucus, which prevents the stomach wall from becoming injured from the acid. Chemical digestion of carbohydrates and lipids can continue in the stomach, allowing for metabolism process where they convert into energy and new cells. While the bolus is still immersed in gastric juices, the liver begins producing bile, a yellowish-green fluid made up of bile salts, bilirubin, cholesterol, electrodes and water. Once produced, it is sent to the gallbladder, where it is stored until needed later. Also beginning production is the pancreas. Pancreatic juice is made up of water, salts, bicarbonate and enzymes. Once produced, it is sent to the ampulla avator, where it is stored until later use. After 3 hours of soaking in powerful gastric juices, the bolus has now entirely broken down, dissolving into a thick liquid paste substance called chyme, which will gradually release into the small intestine. The small intestine, generally being 5 meters long in adults, is covered in millions of microscopic finger-like strands called villi, and they are covered in millions of even tinier strands called microvilli. Both villi and microvilli work together to increase the surface area of the small intestine, making chemical digestion and absorption more efficient. Upon entering the small intestine, the chyme finds itself in a U-shaped tube called the duodenum, where hormones that stimulate the pancreas and gallbladder are produced. On the release of pancreatic juice, the protein, fats and carbohydrates of chyme are broken down. On the release of bile, chyme fats are turned into tiny lipid droplets. Passing into the middle part of the small intestine, the jejunum, chyme is further digested. The smaller, simpler molecules created by chemical digestion are now able to pass through the villi, making their way into the blood. The ileum, being the last and longest part of the small intestine, absorbs bile salts and the majority of vitamins from the chyme, completing absorption. With the assistance of peristalsis, any residue from this completion is pushed through the ileocecal valve, which is a sphincter muscle allowing entry into the large intestine. The large intestine, being a long tube-like organ, is comprised of 4 parts: the cecum, colon, rectum, and the anus. In the cecum, chyme is mixed with bacteria and lubricated with mucus. If there are any remaining water and salts from the chyme, they are absorbed in the cecum. What's left over is then pushed into the colon, where it becomes even drier and more compact. At this point, the leftover of what was chyme is now complete waste material called feces. Moving into the rectum, the feces are held and collected by the anal sphincter muscles. The rectum, surrounded by sensory nerves, detects when it's full, triggering the urge to excrete the feces. From here, the internal anal sphincter involuntarily relaxes and opens, allowing feces to move through. From this point, it needs to pass through the external anal sphincter to be extracted from the body. This thick, large, red muscle can be controlled. We have the ability to internally clench, squeeze, and lift this muscle to stop the feces from coming out, or to completely relax it, allowing excretion through the anus. Moving on to the 7 key requirements of a balanced diet. A balanced diet is accomplished when the body consumes a combination of macronutrients in large quantities and micronutrients in small quantities. Since our body moves and functions on a daily basis, it requires large and constant supply of energy. To meet our body's demands, a trio of energy-producing macronutrients are required. These are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Out of the 3, carbohydrates are our biggest and quickest source of energy. Our second biggest source is protein. However, it ranks third in terms of quickness because it is a complex molecule that takes longer to break down. Long chains of amino acids, which come from the foods we eat, form the building blocks of protein. Out of the 20 amino acids that have been recognised so far, 9 are regarded as essential in adult dietary requirements. Foods containing the 9 amino acids are known as complete proteins and include beef, fish, poultry, eggs, soy, quinoa, and buckwheat. Fat ranks third in order of our biggest energy sources. However, it's second in quickness. Fat, being more concentrated than protein, breaks down a lot quicker and easier through digestion. As well as providing energy, protection, and insulation for our organs, it also assists in cell and nerve function, vitamin absorption, and hormone production. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate, therefore it is a macronutrient. However, it is relatively different in comparison to other carbohydrates. Dietary fiber comes from the outer walls of plants and seeds. It contains very few calories and is not digested by our body. Therefore, it does not provide direct energy, and the energy that is given is minimal in comparison to a trio of major energy-producing macronutrients. There are 2 forms of dietary fiber, soluble and insoluble. Both are important for overall health, digestion, and disease prevention. Soluble fiber draws water from our food, forming a gel during digestion, which slows digestion. Oat, bran, barley, nuts, seeds, beans, lentils all contain soluble fibers. Insoluble fiber adds bulk to our stool, making food pass through the stomach and intestines much quicker. It is found in foods such as wheat bran, vegetables, and whole grains. Both are beneficial in promoting regular stool function and also healthy bacterial growth in our colon. Vitamins and minerals are the 2 micronutrients required by our body. Vitamins are comprised of organic compounds from plants and animals. They can be fat soluble or water soluble, with the main difference being in how the body stores and absorbs them. Fat soluble vitamins are absorbed and stored much easier in our body with the presence of fat. These include vitamins A, D, E, and K, and can be found in many greens, including spinach, rocket, broccoli, and kale. Water-soluble vitamins are not stored in the body. During digestion, the body needs water to absorb them directly into the bloodstream. Any excess is excreted through urine. They include all of the B vitamins as well as vitamin C. Regular consumption of water-soluble vitamins is necessary to prevent deficiencies. Minerals are made up of naturally occurring inorganic compounds. They are necessary for maintaining fluid levels, transforming food into usable substances, and supporting bone formation. They can be macrominerals or microminerals, also known as trace elements, with the main distinction being the amount of each that the body needs. Macrominerals are part of the biological structure of the human body and play a large role in metabolism. They participate in almost all processes that occur in the body. Therefore, the body requires them in large quantities. Microminerals are essential for many biological functions but can be toxic in high concentrations. Therefore, they are needed in small quantities. The final key requirement for a balanced diet is water, which is neither a micronutrient nor a macronutrient. The body needs water to function. Water, unlike carbohydrates, fats, and other vitamins, cannot be stored in the body and hence must be consumed on a daily basis. The body requires water for a range of functions, including cell support and growth, blood pressure regulation, skin moisture balance, digestive assistance, and joint protection. Without water, the body can survive only a few days. Dietary imbalance can come from nutrient deficiency, where a particular nutrient has been overconsumed or underconsumed. From this, malnutrition can occur, being acute or chronic, with the main difference being the length of time it lasts. Acute malnutrition can occur from a short period of inadequate nutrition, as well as inadequate food consumption. It is also generally a result of disease, poverty, and environmental conditions in developing countries. Immediate intervention is required in people with acute malnutrition, as it can be life-threatening, particularly in children. Chronic malnutrition is a result of prolonged inadequate nutrition. Symptoms can include increased risk of underdevelopment, illness, longer illness recovery time, lethargy, and depression. It is important to remember that malnutrition can be the cause of both underconsumption and overconsumption of food. Being malnourished from an overconsumption of high fat and sugar can lead to obesity-related conditions, including heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Cholesterol is a waxy fat-like substance found in the blood and cells of our body. There is good cholesterol, known as HDL, high-density lipoprotein, and bad cholesterol, known as LDL, which is low-density lipoprotein, with the main difference being in how they affect our arteries. LDL carries cholesterol to our arteries, where it builds up. High levels of LDL increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. HDL absorbs cholesterol from our blood and carries it to our liver, where it is removed. High levels of HDL can lower the risk of heart disease and stroke. It is also essential for making cell walls, tissues, hormones, vitamin D, and bile acid. Nutrient deficiencies can have a major detrimental effect on the human body, which can cause long-term chronic symptoms, which can lead to death. A few nutritional deficiency diseases include anemia, scurvy, and rickets. There are over 400 types of anemia, with iron deficiency anemia being the most common in the world. This is mostly encountered by women from blood loss during their reproductive years, most commonly from heavy periods and pregnancy. Common symptoms of an iron deficiency include tiredness, fatigue, a pale complexion, headaches, heart palpitations, and hair loss. To prevent this deficiency, foods high in iron and vitamin C should be consumed. Amongst many, these include red meat, fish, poultry, pork, dark, green vegetables, eggs, nuts, and tofu. Scurvy is a severe vitamin C deficiency and can be caused by little or no incorporation of fruit and vegetables. People with eating disorders and those undergoing chemotherapy are also commonly affected by scurvy. Common symptoms include severe leg, arm, and joint pain, dry brittle hair, rough scaly skin, tiredness, fatigue, bleeding and inflamed gums, and an increased risk of teeth falling out. To prevent scurvy, foods high in vitamin C should be consumed, in particular oranges, grapefruit, strawberries, and kiwi. Also, vegetables such as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and tomatoes. Rickets is a severe vitamin D or calcium deficiency, and it affects children. Common symptoms include dental problems, softened and weakened bones, skeletal deformity, and stunted growth. To prevent rickets, children should receive a healthy amount of sunlight exposure. Additionally, consume foods such as oily fish, red meat, eggs and breakfast cereals, as these, as well as sunlight, are great sources of vitamin D. The NHS offers recommendations to maintain optimal health through balanced nutrition. Their Eat Well guide covers many diets and is available in a variety of cultural and ethnic versions, ensuring greater coverage of the UK population. In this guide, a visual representation of a healthy diet is given on a pie chart along with guidelines. It's recommended that we eat at least 5 portions of fruit and vegetables per day, drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of fluids per day, pay attention to portion sizes, base our meals on high fibre starchy foods, and strive to reach our recommended daily calorie intake. For women it's 2,000 calories and for men it's 2,500 calories. Recent studies have shown that eating a wide variety of foods is most beneficial to our gut microbiome, which is an ecosystem of microbes that live in our intestines. These include bacteria, viruses, fungi and parasites. Our gut microbiome is unique and is majorly influenced by our diet. It can affect everything from weight management to immune function to disease susceptibility and even mental health. Consideration for our gut microbiome should be incorporated when following standard recommendations. For example, our 5 portions of fruit and vegetables per day should be varied, alternating between 20 to 30 varieties per week. This can also include herbs, spices, seeds and nuts. It's important to recognise common lifestyle factors that impact our nutritional balance. A few include smoking, alcohol consumption and insufficient sleep. As well as decreasing appetite, smoking affects the body's ability to absorb a wide range of vitamins and minerals, including calcium, vitamin C and vitamin D. In terms of alcohol consumption, our body prioritises alcohol absorption over required nutrient absorption. It inhibits the absorption of vitamins B1, B12, folic acid and zinc. As well as this, it can disrupt the gut microbiome, leading to an imbalance of good and harmful bacteria. Insufficient sleep can cause the hormone ghrelin to increase, which is the hormone responsible for telling your body it's hungry. At the same time, it causes the hormone leptin to decrease, which leads us to feeling less full. This hormone imbalance can be a setup for weight gain, as its continuity can lead to overeating. Overall, in order to achieve optimal health, our diet should be consistent in variety to achieve a diverse population of microbes within our gut. We should be mindful of portion sizes, the impacts of nutritional imbalance and unhealthy lifestyle factors, understanding that these choices can and will take their toll on our overall health. That's the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.